Welcome to Up Level, Real Health, Real Talk with Dr. Jenna Blasi. I'm Dr. Jenna. I spent years crafting ways to help women thrive, and I want to help you do the same. On this podcast, we dive deep into health at every level, focusing on the mind, the body, and the spirit. This is where real conversations meet transformational wellness. We'll be talking about all the things that truly matter, from nutrition and fitness to lifestyle, mindset, and personal development. Plus, the real deal on managing stress and navigating menopause. So if you're ready to elevate your health journey with authentic, transformative insights, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hello, I'm Dr. Jenna. Welcome back to Up Level. Today we're going to talk about all or nothing mindset and navigating summer, navigating the holidays. When I was doing my residency, we used to have these fireside chats on Friday. They were literally around a fireplace, although it had no fire in it. We put candles in it and we would do different topics and we would just sit around and I would prepare a variety of topics of interest for people. So today we're going to have a fireside chat, except it's July. So let's have a poolside chat. Summer can be an interesting time because one of the biggest obstacles that I see for people is navigating this all or nothing mindset, and it's vacation or it's a special occasion or it's my, it's summer, it's my birthday, etc. And so again, I want this to be like we're having a conversation. So I'm going to envision the responses and the questions and just kind of go with the flow and see what comes up here, because I think it is really important to get away from this idea of all or nothing. First of all or nothing is it's a bit of a perfectionism, right? If I'm not perfect, if I'm not all the things all the time, then I'm just going to go the opposite direction. So what happens on holidays or birthdays or special occasions, vacations, etc., is we have what we feel is maybe a splurge. Some people use the word cheat. I don't like the word cheat. I like to try to avoid words that have so much judgment. Cheat has a lot of shame. Cheat is a word that has a negative connotation of shame and guilt attached to it. So I really encourage you, release that kind of verbiage. I never loved the term cheat day when it comes to fitness and diet and exercise. And even now what we've done with diet, it's like, I want to say nutrition plan, your way of eating, when that is our diet, but we've had all these crazy fad diets that even diet has some not so great connotations. So when we splurge or eat something that feels off from what we want to be doing most regularly, that's okay. It's not actually the splurge that's the problem. It's not the cake or the cookie or the ice cream. It's the downward spiral that follows. It's I had that, so I might as well just go all in the wrong direction, right? This is why so many people say, well, I'll start my diet on Monday. I'll get back on track again on Monday. So they're like, oh, I already blew it Friday night. I went out, I had this or I had that. So now I'm just going to eat crappy all weekend long. So we're in this real all or nothing. And that is the yo-yo. That is why so many people have yo-yo dieted. That is why these extreme things don't work, because you go to one extreme and the pendulum has to swing back the other way, versus living a life of moderation in a sustainable way where maybe your choices are healthy and in integrity with who you want to be and how you want to feel 80 to 90% of the time, and 10 to 20% of the time, you eat those other things so that you're not feeling deprived. If we're constantly, what we resist persists. So if we're constantly fighting cravings, we will eventually give in. And when we do, it will likely be a downward spiral, right? How many of you can eat one cookie or two cookies or one bite of cake or a few potato chips? It's usually then the whole bag, right? I mean, that's how I used to be when I had, more of a sugar issue. I used to have trouble not eating 5 or 6 or sometimes the whole container. And then once I found more moderation and a plan that really worked for me long term, I can have just one and not go into a downward spiral. So as we go into summer, some of us are just beginning it. Some of us have been in it for, if you're in Arizona, we've been in it for a little while now. We can't just throw caution to the wind and then be like, oh, I'll get back on track in the fall, or I'll get back on track after this trip, or I'll get back on track after XYZ. Let's find that moderation so that it's not this starting and stopping and starting and stopping. Because if we're constantly starting and stopping, we're not going to get the results that we want. We're not. And so before you go away, for example, let's say I have a big trip plan. And that's a lot of the coaching that I do with my program members is, when we do coaching and Q&A, a common question that I get is, how do I navigate going away? What do I do about going away? And so I always ask when somebody asks me this question, what is your main concern? Because for some, it's that they're not going to be able to find the healthy foods. For some, it's that they're not going to be able to resist all the unhealthy foods. For others, they don't know how they're going to get their fitness in. And so we always want to know, what is the goal that we're looking for? Because I don't want to answer that question in a blanket way that's not actually what somebody's asking. And as a slight tangent, this is true for the right fitness when it comes to macros and the right nutrition when it comes to macros, and the right fitness is, if someone says, well, what should my macros be? Well, what is your goal? Are you looking to gain muscle? Are you looking to lose fat? Are you looking to maintain? Are you looking that changes. It changes the fitness plan to some extent, and it changes your calories and your macros. Somebody that wants to build muscle has a very different picture of what we're doing with their calories and a little bit their macros versus someone that's trying to just lose fat. So we always want to know what the goal is. So when you're going away, I think most of us, for the goal is to be relaxed, to have a good time, to enjoy our family and our friends and maybe new restaurants and food. If you're a foodie, if you're a foodie and you're going to France or Italy or somewhere like that, the food part is a big part for a lot of people. The drink part might be a big part for those of you that drink. And so looking at the overarching picture of, how do you want to live? What is in integrity for you? How do you want to live? How do you want to feel? So you can set up before a vacation, I want to relax, I want to have fun, I want to enjoy food and drink, but maybe you also want to stay integrity with your goals. Maybe you also want to stay true to how you want to feel, because if you feel bloated your whole trip, that's not fun either. If you're feeling guilt or shame, those are actually a bigger problem than the food that you may drink, right? Because shame and blame, I always talk about how this is like the lowest vibration. Like there's the vibration, like death, we're at 0 on the frequency scale, and shame and guilt are at about 15 or 20. So they're super low vibrations, and we can only attract what we're in harmony with. And so we want to do everything we can to shift out of shame and blame. And that's just past conditioning and past upbringing, and to be able to really let that go. And so a common question that I hear from a lot of women is like, I want to go away. Can I just enjoy? Do I need to restrict? Will it undo everything I've worked for? What if you've made all of this progress? Is it going to do that? And so when we look at the emotional component of that, the guilt, it actually creates more stress. It creates more stress, and it labels foods good and bad. And I feel good about then we start to identify. I feel good about myself when I eat healthy foods, and I'm bad and I'm shameful and I should be not happy with myself when I don't. And so in life, vacation is just a microcosm of life, because life is going to have plenty of opportunities to go out to eat, to get invited to parties, to enjoy. So vacation is not about perfection, nor is our journey in life. Presence and intention go a long way. So when we figure out what do you want to be in integrity with when you go? So before you go on vacation, really anchor in who you're becoming. If you're on a health journey, who are you becoming? I'm getting ready to go away, and I'm a little bit like, I've always exercised when I'm away. Like when we take trips, we go to the beach in California a lot in the summer, and I will bring my weights with me sometimes, because we usually stay at Airbnbs, and it's the rare Airbnb that has workout equipment, and often where we're staying is not close to a gym. Plus for me, the time commitment away from my family to actually go to a gym to work out versus just getting my workout done, in the living room or on the beach. That feels more doable because I'm still with the family. So part of it is finding that balance. Maybe you don't work out right as long or in the same way. I will sometimes throw my rebounder in the back of our car if there's room. Bring a jump rope with you. There's lots of ways, but this trip that we're going on now feels different to me, and I haven't quite figured out. We have a lot of like early morning excursions, which is usually when I work out. I'm like, what's that going to look like? So before you go, anchor in who you're becoming or who you are. Now, if it's already really well established in your identity who you are, then it's a little bit less of an issue. This is why I love talking about this topic, because I've been navigating this for years. I mean, I'm a vegetarian, and so traveling, it's always been like there's certain non-negotiables. So as a vegetarian, it's harder to eat unhealthy because I don't eat eggs either. And so desserts that I would maybe give into, they all have eggs in them. And so it's easier for me to stay on track to a certain extent. I mean, I've gotten pretty good at like seeking out the vegan restaurants and going overboard on things that aren't necessarily healthy. But when we're already anchored in who we are, it's not as much of a concern. Like I said, for me, it's so anchored in that I exercise regularly that this is done on almost every vacation. And then there's usually added walking, and for a lot of people on trips. And so I don't say this to toot my own horn. I've just been doing this for a long time, and it's part of my standard. It's part of my non-negotiables of who I am. I eat healthy most of the time. Yes, I eat unhealthy things more often when I'm on vacation than at home, but lots of stuff comes up, like I said, in day-to-day life, but I'm pretty anchored in the healthy version of me. Now, if you're at the beginning of that journey, who are you becoming? So before you go, who do you want to be on vacation? Because most of us, we want to have fun, but we want to feel vibrant, feel connected, maybe be at peace in your body. So look at what choices align with that. And I'm not just talking about food. I'm talking about movement, rest, joy. So some planning ahead can make a big difference, as well as getting clear on your goals. So it starts mental. I'm big on mindset. It starts mental first. Like, how do I want to be on vacation? I want to be relaxed. I don't want to overthink it. We can overthink everything we put into our body. And again, that just adds more stress. That adds more disconnect. Or we can say, I'm going to go with intention. I'm going to enjoy myself, and I'll choose moments to indulge. I'll choose moments to splurge, but it's not going to be a mindless habit, because that's a very different feeling. When I sit down with a bowl of, ice cream or whatever, and I'm like, I am consciously going to enjoy this. It's not a mindless habit. Mindless habits don't feel good. I have a real soft spot for salt, like French fries, potato chips. If those were healthy, I would eat them all the time. And there's nothing I like less, I'm being facetious, but then like if I decide I'm eating chips and I get to the end and I haven't even paid attention and I finish the bag, that's mindless. I didn't even enjoy it. What was the point of that? So choosing moments, not just mindlessness, staying in intention, staying present. Also recognizing and saying to yourself, like, I can enjoy without undoing what I've done. I can enjoy in a moment without going on a downward spiral. And you can eat what you love, but don't try to avoid having it be an escape where you're just like, okay, I get to do whatever I want. And you go a little crazy. Like, keep that self-awareness where you're listening to your body, not your paradigm, not your old stories, but listening to your body. And then there's other things we can do to prepare for being successful. And the people that I work with that are really get long-term successful results, which is our goal with people, that we take people on a journey that it becomes their lifestyle. And so it's not just a thing you do. It's not just a thing that you do, that there's all these quick fixes in society. And when we do it's like a flash in the pan, and then you go back to the old you. We released our first offer of check out this 30-day reset. And the reason, I haven't done that in the past is because we have to be careful when we get into this quick fix reset mindset that then we don't get lasting results, and it can create a yo-yo. So when I decided I just wanted some offering for people who wanted to see what we do a little bit, work with us for a long time, but not in a place where they can, or where, if they're in a state where we're not, anyway, whatever, all the reasons. But it really took some time to curate something that wasn't going to be, that would get results, but wasn't about a quick fix. It was actually about learning about your body, listening to your body, and navigating long-term. So part of that long-term navigation is having the tools to help you stay on track. Like you've probably heard when people say, don't go grocery shopping hungry. Like that's a tip. Like that's a tip that you can use throughout your life, because if we go grocery shopping hungry, we will buy all of the crap that they put around in our face for us to buy. So some strategy tips, just overall: hydrate more than usual, drinking lots of water, anchoring with protein and fiber at meals. And I always travel with my protein powder. Now, ideally, we get our protein more from food, but I know, again, as a vegetarian, especially a menopausal vegetarian, where beans are not the source that I'm looking for to get my protein needs met, it's harder for me to have my protein needs met when I'm traveling. So I always travel with protein. Have fiber at every meal. So you're fueling up with hydration, you're adding fiber, and then just move daily. Even if it's not your normal exercise routine, walk, stretch, play. I mean, you can even, if you're on the beach, like I've sometimes just done a little HIIT routine for 10 minutes. So there's a bug in my eye for those of you that are watching on YouTube. And so, I would just do jump squats and maybe do push-ups and do some ab work. And so we can squeeze in. And what I will say is, and this is true like throughout life, when you add in a little bit, it keeps you in integrity and you feel good. So I normally work out depending on what phase of, because I try different things with my fitness. I usually work out probably on average 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes most days a week. So 4 to 6. I just came through a fitness program where I was doing 6 days a week. But if I suddenly didn't have time, right, or maybe this upcoming trip, if I even did 10 minutes, I would feel better. If I even did just 10 minutes in my room of Pilates or jump squats or like whatever works for your body, there's ways, to travel with resistance bands or like a suspension, like a TRX that you can just put up in your hotel room or wherever you are. I've done step ups and down, like off coffee tables in the room, and then push ups off coffee tables and planks. Even 10 to 15 minutes makes a huge difference in how we feel and in staying on track. Because when we completely disconnect, and look, sometimes that's just the nature and that's going to happen, and we have to accept that as well. But typically when we completely disconnect, then we start that downward spiral and we start to feel less healthy, and then we make less healthy choices. But when we feel vibrant, when we feel healthy, it feels good to make good choices. So I always pack like my anchor items, my powdered green drink, my powdered red drink, my amino acids, things like that, where they're just powders. They're easy to travel with. I mix them with water, and then I'm getting a little more hydration, and I'm flooding my body with nutrition. And those are anchoring in. So like my protein powder and my other powders, those are big for me. Those are probably more important to me than any vitamins that I bring with me. So look at what can you bring that will anchor in. In most places you can get a blender. They have those travel like ninja blenders if you want to have access to making up a smoothie. Depends what time of year. I'm talking summer, but you can travel with soups. When I'm traveling, like where I'm going to be like at the airport all day, I will often travel with soups that I just have to find, soup packets that I have to find some hot water and add that to. So it's really important to not skip meals during these times. Holidays, traveling, special occasions, because we usually end up binging. So you skip meals and then you binge, and the regulating of your blood sugar is going to help you feeling a lot better. And so what I will say about the skipping meal thing is, if you know, like, let's say you're going to have a really big dinner, a big celebratory thing, What you can do is kind of stack your healthy meal first thing in the morning. So this applies a little more to, let's say, like a Thanksgiving day or a Sunday when you know you're like a Saturday, you're going to go out with friends and family. So make sure you have a really solid breakfast. Protein, healthy fat. Now, some people do well with a little bit of carbohydrate at breakfast. It depends again if you're exercising, and then if you're exercising, are you doing strength? Are you doing cardio? All of those pieces play in, but a really solid, healthy breakfast that then sets you up for the day, and then go enjoy whatever other meals you are going to enjoy. And so there's setting ourselves up for success. There's keeping it from being all or nothing. Keep something in there, right? All or something. How about all or something? Get some movement, get some healthy meals in. Maybe not all healthy meals, but one healthy meal out of 3 is better than no healthy meals out of 3. 2 healthy meals out of 3 is better than 1 or no healthy meals out of 3. But if you do overdo it, let it go. Be gentle with yourself. Be gracious with yourself and keep your power. We so often give our power away to our cravings, to the occasion. And in fact, I was just talking with someone the other day about giving our power away to circumstance. Let's take ownership in every area of our life. Yes, it can be harder traveling. Not always. So you indulge or maybe you overdo it and you say, okay, that happened, but I'm still in charge. I've got this. I still got this. And my next choice is going to be great. My next choice is going to be great because with all or nothing, once we haven't met our own expectations that we've set, then we're like, well, screw it. I'm going to have all the things. But if we say, that's all right, I've still got this. My next choice is going to be a great one. My next choice is going to be a win. Then you're already in that all or something and you're already going to be successful. Please don't punish yourselves. Oh, I've got to work out harder because I ate XYZ. It's not a healthy relationship with food or exercise, honestly. Just be present and stay connected with your body. It's when we get connected with our body that we really get long-term success because we bring in that intention. We don't allow guilt and shame to rule us. We let go of the perfectionistic all or nothing behaviors, which so many of us have. So many of us. It's so easy to do, but it is an excellent habit to break. It is an excellent habit to break. Because remember, this is a lifestyle. This is not a 30-day sprint. Even in the recent 30-day shift method that we just released for people, we tell them this is not a 30-day sprint. This is get a great reset and kind of get on track for summer, for great habits. But then this is the beginning. This is the beginning. Just like how they call graduation commencement. Kids go to school for 4 years and then they graduate. It's called commencement because you've got the information, you've developed maybe some study habits and this and that, and then you're just getting started. This is the beginning for the rest of your life. If you really want to feel good and walk or hike or run into your 90s rather than be dragged into your 90s or, not make it to your 90s, this is about really embracing this as a lifestyle. And it's not a lifestyle of deprivation. It's not a lifestyle of restriction. It's a lifestyle of balance. It's a lifestyle of allowing and being in the flow and it's just like a relationship. In your relationship, we're not always our best selves, right? With our partner, but we try our best to be our best selves more often than not. And if we don't, it's not going to be a very good relationship. So if in your relationship, you're trying to be your best person, you show up your best or best mom or best dad or whatever, when we slip, we just own it. When I slip with my kids, if I snap, if I don't like the way I react, I'd rather respond, but maybe I react, I apologize and I own it. And I say, if I could rewind and redo it, this is how I would have responded, but I can't technically do that. So next time I'll do better. And we forgive. And so ask yourself for forgiveness, forgive yourself. Vacation can absolutely be a part of your health journey, not a detour from it. So I really encourage you on the trip or to the party or on the occasion, bring peace with you. Bring peace, not pressure. We don't need more pressure. We already put ourselves under so much undue pressure. We don't need more pressure. So bring peace and bring empowerment. Because all or nothing is very disempowering, because then as soon as we're not perfect, boom, we've lost all control. We're swinging the other way versus, okay, that wasn't the best meal, or that wasn't the best afternoon, or that wasn't the best day, or maybe even that wasn't the best week, or maybe up until this point in your life, it hasn't happened for you yet, but it's never too late to turn it around. I remember working with a woman a few years ago, and when she went through menopause, her body changed dramatically, and she had tried, some like big fancy hormone clinics in the Scottsdale area, and wasn't getting results, wasn't releasing weight. And so we took her through our process, and she went to France early on in her journey. I think it was within the first 3 or 4 weeks of working together. And she said, oh my gosh, I went to France and I enjoyed myself and I ate the bread, and I can't remember, she might have drank wine as well. And she said, but I didn't gain weight. She said, I always gain weight when I'm on these types of trips. She said, I didn't gain weight. Her husband actually did. She said, but I didn't. And part of it was because we built up resilience. That's the power of a little reset is you get yourself let's even the ground. So you go in strong. It's like going before surgery, be your healthiest version that you can going in. So you have some wiggle room. So we had built up resilience, but I think also she understood the process of being more relaxed, and she didn't have to go crazy indulging or be trying to restrict in a foreign country that's known for its food. So she found that balance, and then was able to then come back, continue her journey, release weight, and feel better and better. And that's what I want for you all. You all deserve to thrive. All right. You deserve to thrive. And that includes taking vacations and celebrating birthdays and anniversaries and graduations and all the things with joy, but with peace and with success. So you get off this roller coaster of, I feel good, I don't feel good. I feel good, I don't feel good. I gain weight, I lose weight. I gain, let's just stop. The only roller coasters are going to be Six Flags and Disneyland, okay? Or wherever your amusement park is if you go. No more roller coasters of life. Let's strengthen our inner selves, be in alignment with who we want to be, and enjoy ourselves and our life. So thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this and found it useful. And there's lots of other tips for navigating this depending on where you're going and what you're doing. But just like with regular tips, it's that fiber, being hydrated before you go to a restaurant. A restaurant is similar, but let me just add, a restaurant is similar to the grocery store. Don't go starving, because then they're going to put the bread basket, they're going to put the chips, they're going to put the whatever down, and you're just going to, So have some fiber, maybe have some fruit, water, whatever, maybe a protein shake. In fact, protein before, specifically whey protein before a meal, really helps blunt the blood sugar response and leaves you more satiated and more likely to eat in balance. So I said I was done, but then I thought of something else. So many people need to hear this. I truly believe so many people need to hear this. So if you know a friend that this would really benefit, or a relative or whomever, please share it with them. And then DM us or send an email to hello@uplevelholistichealth.com and let me know how this was impactful and what you found useful about it. All right. Thanks so much. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Uplevel, Real Health, Real Talk. I hope today's conversation inspired you to take the next step in your health journey. One that nourishes not just your body, but your mind and spirit as well. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you found value in today's episode, please leave a review. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep thriving. And remember, true wellness is a journey, and you are on the right path.